So, fun way to wake up. A gaggle of schoolgirls who rocked up here. It is currently 7:30. They've been here since 6:30 this morning. Brilliant. Okay, that's just weird. Good afternoon, friends. So, I must admit to have made a tactical error. I've now had 2 double espressos in the last 3 hours because I've been sitting here and working. I'm currently in the middle of a class. And the second double espresso has made me really jittery. So, yeah. So, tomorrow, 1 double espresso. And then sticking to tea. Anyway. Close to you. Finished work for the day. I'm just about to leave this actually very nice hotel and go back to my accommodation. I'm going to stop off and get some vegetables and things from the supermarket. I'm going to make myself a corned beef hash tonight. Corned beef hash has a rather broad definition, but in my case it's a tin of corned beef, a tin of beans, and then adding things, pickles and jalapeno peppers and stuff like that. I'm going to try and get some decent vegetables to add to it, and that will hopefully last me a couple of days, because I can't afford to keep eating here. So, one thing that I do not miss about hotels like this is the music. That song that just finished was a music version of Close to You by the Carpenters, which is such a wonderful song. But it's so schmaltzy and saccharine, and oh my god, it drives me nuts. In a very tolerant kind of way, of course. Anyway, let me explain it. One additional point that's annoying me right now. Now, I have my iPad here. My iPad is how I teach. I carry my phone, of course, which is a very high-end phone. I have my laptop that I almost use exclusively for administration for my work at the end of the month, and also for media. And I have a reconditioned Generation 4 iPad that I use almost exclusively for media, for Netflix, and also for the primary uses for work is I teach using Google Meets, video conferencing. The iPad got damaged, the screen got cracked on the iron ore train in Mauritania. If you haven't watched the videos of the iron ore train in Mauritania, you really should, because that was a weekend. It was very, very fucking cool. Point is getting on and off the train. I don't know when it happened, but my iPad screen got cracked. It's not badly cracked. It's still perfectly usable, but it does mean that stuff has got behind the glass, and so it's not something I can clean, and that's annoying me a little bit, because I'm just gonna have to use this thing until December. What are you gonna do? I love these guys. I don't know what they are, but they're kind of like a cross between a magpie and a raven. They're really quite cool. Try and get closer, but no, I'm going to scare them off. Yeah. So I finished work and I'm back at the convent. Just made myself some tea. And a quick word about moments of doubt. I've had this feeling the last couple of days, and it took me a second to identify what it was, because I am not by nature an anxious person. Well, not about traveling anyway, women maybe. But it took me a minute to realize what was going on. And it's a moment of doubt, I suppose. I know what it is. It's because I'm nervous about the weekend. I'm traveling from Monrovia here in Liberia to Abidjan, which is the capital of the Ivory Coast. And it's a long way. I don't have that much information, which does annoy me. So I'll be flying by the seat of my pants more than usual. But I am nervous. I am nervous. So that's the reason, that's the origin of this feeling, but I am feeling it's easy to forget what you're doing because you're traveling from place to place. You're staying a week here, a week there, 2 weeks there. But if you step back and look at the whole thing, sometimes it is daunting. This trip, Tangier to Cape Town, forget about it. It's serious shit, man. Now, like I say, I'm not really given to anxiety, but I am feeling anxious. And it's not quite as delicious a feeling as fear. I like being scared, but this is a little bit different. It is anxiety. Yeah. So, in this situation, if you're ever in this situation, or if you're in a bunch of situations, accept it, own it, deal with it, and know that when you get on the road, Friday morning, I'm going to leave this place, and then start the journey. And pretty much the second that starts, this will be gone, like a puff of smoke. You know that, and yet the feeling persists. Yeah. Good morning, friends. So it's 10 to 7 in the morning. I've just arrived on the terrace of the Swiss hotel at which I'm working this week. I'm not used to a commute these days. Walking for 15 minutes to get here was a bit of a bitch. And I will never get used to people older than me calling me sir. The trick is to call them sir back, of course. Good morning, friends. So, back on the balcony of the hotel. Got here very early, earlier than the waiting staff, actually. And I'm just on a break in between classes. But I might have just got rather lucky. My mother, noble and wise lady that she is, occasionally takes it upon herself to do some research on my behalf, because she's lovely like that. And it hadn't actually occurred to me to just literally look at bus from Monrovia to Abidjan, because everything I'd read was dusty, wrecked roads and a river crossing and dust everywhere and possible motorcycle taxis. It hadn't occurred to me to just go down to brass tacks and just Google it, but she sent me a link to a YouTube video, and there's apparently an air-conditioned coach that goes from here to there on Saturday. If that comes off, then this fairly daunting journey will have been relatively easy and fairly cheap, $50 American. If that comes off, it will have been a good day, and all thanks to my ma. And boom, place behind me just issued me my ticket for Saturday afternoon. It's a 19-hour crossing overnight, which is nice. Air-conditioned bus. That worked out really well. And again, all thanks to my mother. I'm 50 years old. Good morning, friends. So, it is 5:45 in the morning. I am currently making my quick commute to the hotel to start work at 6 o'clock. As I mentioned before, Liberia is 2 hours behind Central Europe, and so 8 o'clock for them is 6 o'clock for me. On the bright side, well, there are two bright sides actually. One of them is that I have 4 hours straight. So I start at 6 and I finish at 10. And then I'm off. Then I'm off for the entire weekend. Because tomorrow is ordinarily a travel day, but in this particular example, I am going to making the crossing to Abidjan on Saturday afternoon. So I've got tomorrow off. And also, I do believe, I haven't double checked this, but I do believe that Cote d'Ivoire is only an hour behind. So that means that this time next week, I'll be asleep and I will start work at 7 o'clock in the morning.